What's the deal, family? Welcome back to another SOS podcast. I am Cameron. This is my beautiful wife, Erin. What's going on?
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Just
Pregnant?
waddling along.
One waddle a day?
Oh my gosh.
Another day,
Yes.
another waddle?
Another day, another waddle. 36 weeks. Had another doctor appointment. We're at the weekly stage where we're having doctor appointments once a week. And I got I got checked to see if I've dilated yet, and oh my gosh, no one warned me. No one warned me.
Anyway.
That was painful.
Audie.
But otherwise everything's good,
That's good.
Everything's good. Okay, so what are we sipping on?
You are sipping on raspberry tea.
Yes, trying to get this baby out of me once it's time.
Yeah, preparing her body the best way, all the things that they say do.
Yeah.
Which raspberry tea is one of those things that I guess eases cramping or makes
I
cramping
guess
lighter.
it helps
right?
with the cervix softening and helps with cramping, menstruation, all the things. So I don't know.
All that stuff up in
apparently
there.
it works. So I'm just taking a chance.
Yeah, so she's drinking.
We don't know the
cups of that.
technical stuff, but
Yeah.
cheers. And what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Rosé French 75.
Ooh, that sounds yummy. He ditched me with the mocktails and the tea and stuff, y'all. Get on them.
Talking about get on them.
Okay, this or that. Private jet or your own private yacht.
Jet.
Like a nice yacht.
Jet.
Like really nice
Jet.
yacht. Really?
Yes.
Why? Have we done this one before?
No, but
okay.
you probably knew that was my answer, though. Did you know that was my answer?
I knew you were going to pick jet.
Oh,
Because
okay.
you don't really like being on the water like that.
Yeah, so jet.
But why? But also, I feel like we've never experienced a yacht of the caliber.
I think that I would
be
use
considering.
the jet more than I use the boat.
But if you had the boat.
I still think that I would use the jet. More
Okay, utility versus enjoyment, though. So, like, I feel like a private jet has more utility where you can use it. Like, obviously, you're going to use it more because you're going to fly more.
Yeah.
Whereas a private yacht or your own yacht, like, you have a staff. It's like a trip. Like, this is like you're boating through Europe or you're boating through, like, this is a lifestyle type of, I don't know how to explain it, Like, I get that a private jet is more useful, but like a boat is more of like, I don't know how to explain it.
Are you trying to convince me?
I'm not trying to convince you.
Oh, okay.
I would pick a private jet too. All that to say, I would pick a private jet
I'm like,
too. Only because I feel like, for one, yes, I think you get more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Because you can take it wherever you need to go. Like, and if there was an emergency or anything, like, you have your jet to get on.
I mean, I think too, like, even if it wasn't an emergency, I'd just rather get there quicker. A boat, you're not getting there nearly as quick as a jet. So,
but that's not the point of a boat. The point is not to get somewhere quick. That's kind of what I was saying. Like, I don't feel like a boat is as much of as means of transportation as it is like a means of enjoyment.
I would put
relaxation.
it to you this way: if I'm
that's
Jay-Z,
kind of why I was saying all of that.
Okay, I guess if I'm Jay-Z or if I'm anybody like that, I get why they have a yacht. They have nothing else to do but to be in the middle of some water because they can't go to Target.
Yeah.
So, I get it, but yeah, I'm taking my jet.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would pick a jet too. So let us know what you would pick: a private jet or a private yacht.
Private jet or a private yacht.
I would. Okay, so this is not part of the discussion that we have planned, but one of my bucket list things is to rent an RV. I have been like talking about this for so long to Cameron. He's probably sick of me saying it, but I would love to get like a luxury RV and just like coast around and take a nice big family road trip and just make the best memories ever with our kids and stop at all these cool RV stops. Like, I be seeing them on TikTok and they are so nice. Like, all over the place, they have these cool RV stops. So I want to do that. I also would love to like have charter a yacht for like, I don't know, a week and just have like a week on a yacht
Our
and
friends
stop
have
at different
our friends have been
islands,
talking
like
about that, right?
European islands or like in Turkey or something like that. And obviously I would love to fly private. Like I want to do all of those things.
Yeah, y'all haven't been talking about the yacht though, right? I feel like for
Yeah.
the past few years or a
We
couple
we
years,
we've bounced the idea around.
it still
But
hasn't
we just
happened, but
haven't
I
done
think
it.
it's gonna happen.
Hopefully we can do that in the next
RV
few
wise, I
years.
think that that'll happen when our kid is older, a little older, and then like we could say Aiden or something like that.
Yeah, like maybe when the kids are, well, when I feel like we'll do that when we have multiple kids. Cause
Well, multiple as in just one more after this
yeah,
first one.
well, yeah, just one more. But you know, I can't see us doing that in like the next 2 or 3 years.
No, yeah.
So we'll see. But anyway, those are some of my little bucket
Bucket
listers.
list
Wait, do you
joints.
have any?
Bucket list?
Yeah.
Mine are just yours, you know. Like you know, whatever, whatever you say.
Mine are just yours.
You know, my stuff is not anything like that. So
He just wants cars, that's all.
yeah.
Okay. All right, so what are we talking about?
Today, like this week, or yeah, this week, we are 4 weeks away from the baby being here,
Yes.
and
At most 4 weeks.
at most
away.
4 weeks. We think it'll be sooner,
Yeah.
but we are here to talk about holding each other accountable, and I think that it's hard. I think the thought of having hard conversations, quote unquote, or quote end quote, hard conversations is actually hard for some people. For us, but I don't think for us it's actually hard. So I think we want to share, I guess, how we hold each other accountable, how we talk to each other, what's heated, and I guess what's not. But this week we are trying to, like, we're at the tail end. We don't have, to us we have zero time.
Yeah.
Like, so
Time is up.
and of course, like, we work full time together. Like we're pregnant, we're working full time together. We had a whole basement project, a nursery project, like all these things, all in a matter of basically
Like within the
6
last
months.
6 months.
So like
yeah.
half this year, and that's a lot. And this week, Erin has been preparing so that she can take off.
On top of being pregnant, like it's no joke on your body as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like trying to juggle all of this on top of that. It's
Yeah.
just like, oof.
So we're trying to get her to where she can just breathe and take a break, but also get me to a point to where I can continue working because I have no problem doing so. But yesterday we had a heated.
We had a marriage meeting.
We had a marriage meeting yesterday,
Well,
and this one wasn't.
It wasn't so much life as it was a business, like more
Yeah.
of a business / reality check meeting.
Yeah. So we kind of, I think we had to like hash out who we are now since we've been married. And I think officially letting go of who we were before we got married. Now, obviously, we've been married for going on 4 years now, and you think, oh, you should be adjusted. But that's actually shorter than, you know, the length of time that we weren't
Known each
married.
other.
So,
yeah.
we're talking about, you know, our business, who should be doing what, when should be done, all those good things. Let them know how you are feeling about, I guess, what I got going on.
Well, here's the thing.
Nah.
I think it's interesting, and I've been kind of playing with this dynamic for a while of being the face of a brand, because when it comes to wanting to take time off or a maternity leave, it's just kind of like, okay, so now what? You know, like everything's kind of riding on me, and I am the one who, you know, has to be the face of the content. And obviously you do a lot behind the scenes and you do a lot in the house, but it was kind of like I was starting to feel like, okay, if I'm not doing something, Cameron's not doing work related things. Like Cameron does a lot around the house and makes sure that things are running in the house, and also like edits and everything for the business. But I was like, okay, if there's nothing to edit, then what are you doing? You know what I mean? And it kind of came to this point where it was like, I don't want you to feel like you're like overwhelmed slash not necessarily overwhelmed, but just like house is your thing and work is my thing. And they're like, we need to kind of level out the playing field a little bit and try to figure out, okay, like what can you be doing while I'm, if I'm not recording, basically. And so it was an interesting conversation because I think it kind of showed also how we communicate in being respectful to each other, but also like getting the point across, like I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I am feeling pressure. Like I am feeling like, okay, like things are starting to close in and we're like getting to the finish line. And obviously we're not going to be like, things may not be perfect when the baby gets here, but we certainly want it to be like 90% at least, in terms of work. So, we've been trying to like, I think, find our flow in the midst of having so much going on. I think it's more of that than this. I do think it is learning each other in this stage now, but I think it goes to show how much like in your marriage, like things change, and like you then have like our routine a year ago is definitely not that now. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it probably won't be that in a year from now. But how do we like sync, and hold each other accountable for the things that we both want together and individually. Yeah. So what do you think? Like, how do you feel like we hold each other accountable enough, or do you feel like we let things kind of get to a point where we're like, okay, let's reel it in?
Okay, so I think we trust each other too much, which causes us to not hold each other accountable to a point where not like too late, basically. Like we're not waiting too late to hold each other accountable.
Right.
My thing is time, right?
Mm-hmm. And this is something he got on me about.
So
I shared my spiel.
I was letting Aaron know, I'm like, for me, I can work all day long. If I could do her stuff, I would do her stuff as well, especially because she's pregnant. Like, I would do your stuff as well, right? I think she knows that. But my thing is time. I can't function in chaos. I can't function spontaneously. I can't do those things. Like, that is not my strong suit. And I'm aware of that. Aaron is also aware of that. So I had to get on her. I'm like, yo, that I don't do well if we're not on time with things.
Right.
We've been talking about getting stuff done since you've been pregnant.
Right.
Right? Now we're 4 weeks out, and now she's like, I feel the pressure. Now, Aaron loves to work under pressure.
I thrive.
I don't mind working under pressure.
I thrive in a tornado.
Yeah, she actually does. She does. But for me, I'm like, yo, babe, think this through, right? We're having a baby. You've never done this before. This is totally different. Your pressure is completely different now. Mm-hmm. All I want you to do is to be able to breathe freely for at least 2 months without having to think about work. The way to do that is to be time conscious before then. That way you don't have to worry about time, and I'll freely let you not care about time when the baby is here. That's my rationale. With you, you're like, well, you could be doing 1, 2, and 3. I'm like, well, yeah, I could, but the stuff that needs to be done still hasn't been done.
Right.
And that's what, if I can't get that stuff done, then nothing else will matter. Like, I feel like when we try to add something else, it's like we're adding something else to basically band-aid what we didn't take care of yet. You get what I'm saying?
But I don't look at it like that.
Yeah, but you need to.
But I don't, because to some extent, I think of us as, even though we work together, I still think that there are independent things that we could be doing that have nothing to do with what the other person is doing.
No, I
agree.
And
that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, we've said like we want to do real estate. That can be easily something that you're taking the reins on and like working on day in, day out, while I'm recording or blah blah blah, and like you take 10 seconds to edit the videos, so it's not even like these are things that you're spending like hours on end doing,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
kind of where I was coming from. It's like, you know, I think we just kind of have to figure out, because we are very codependent
Yeah.
in the sense that we like doing everything together, and we just kind of have to figure out, okay, like what are those individual tasks that like we can sync on, but they don't necessarily have anything to do,
Right.
not have anything to do, but like aren't bearing weight on the other person at all.
Right.
You know, like we obviously want to be on the same page with them, but like you're taking the reins of this, I'm taking the reins of that, and then we come together and sync on those things, which is why I think it's really important that we have like our marriage meetings, because
Yeah.
when we do that, we always come out of them feeling so much better. And even with like content planning, like Cameron is super creative, so I always like to have him. He doesn't think he's that creative, but I think he's creative. But I like to have powwows with him about content, because I'm like, you consume content too. Like I want to know, like, does this sound interesting to you? Or like, what are some of your ideas? Like you're editing this, like how can I shape this in a way that's cool or whatever? And I think that those things just like help get me excited about the content I'm creating.
Right.
So then I create better, and then you can edit, and like it just kind of
Right.
like
But that's
it
what I feel like.
flows.
That's where I feel like I've been failing at, though. I don't think it's the me getting something else done, because I can take care of the other stuff, but in my mind, it's like what we have going, which is our money maker. I have to make sure that that's good. I can't really focus on the next thing if what's keeping us going ain't going.
Right.
So that's kind of what I mean by like I need you to be kind of time conscious to get that out the way. And if you got your stuff out, then I can worry about everything else. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
No, I get
But
that.
I feel like if that's not done, then I'm like, well, shoot, how I'm gonna focus on something and this can potentially fall in the floor.
Right.
So that's
how
what
we
I mean.
think differently.
Yeah.
Because because we have different thought patterns when it comes to that type of like that when it comes to that. But I feel like also I get it. So I like, and also like I need to be
Better.
wow. I do need to be more on top of things, but I think it for sure has been a struggle with being pregnant, because it's just like you just don't know. And I'm not really using this as an excuse as much as it just is the honest truth of just you don't know like how you're going to feel one day, and like it's just some days I'm just exhausted and I know that I'm not going to show up right on camera, or you know, it's just certain things that it's hard. Like if I have a doctor appointment or if I go to the gym, like I want to work out, but if I go to the gym, then I come home and I'm tired because I just, you know, like the time in between leaving the gym and getting home, like maybe if I just worked out at home, it'd be different. But like,
Or just create a schedule that allows you to work out.
Yeah.
And to work on.
Yeah, and I'm not
on
saying
the same day.
I'm not saying that I'm making an excuse. I'm just saying like based on the patterns that we have had, like that has been the reality. It's like, or if it's like super rainy one day and I'm tired, like it just sets the whole tone of the day. And it's just, so I think the more that that's why I feel like when you gain momentum, like it's just really important to try to keep as much of it as you can, because as soon as you lose the momentum, it's really hard to like start it back up.
I mean, look at today. I mean, we had a great day.
I know.
Like,
Today was great.
We had a doctor's appointment. We shot plenty of content today. Like,
yeah.
House is good. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it rained.
Yeah. And we can probably go for a walk or something later.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got time in the day to still, like, lollygag like we have kind of honestly earned.
Yeah.
But sometimes we take advantage of the ability to lollygag where we do it throughout the day.
Yeah.
And that's something that I just want to avoid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Me too. And one thing that I was telling Cameron too in our meeting was just like we need to really monitor how much we're on our phones and on like watching TV, because even once the baby gets here, like I don't want that to be
her norm,
a habit of ours, you know, like I don't want her to see us on our phones so much, you know? So I think for me right now, I'm trying to just like, obviously you're gonna scroll, like,
Yeah.
but be more mindful of like how much, and also for me specifically, like, okay, if I'm gonna be on here, I need to be posting, like I need to
Right.
be putting some type of content up,
Yeah.
even if it's something quick and simple, but like I would rather also keep
If I'm gonna
that
be on
momentum.
here,
Yeah,
let it
like if
be
I'm gonna be on
beneficial
there,
to
at
me.
least do something. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like those types of things. And I mean, yeah, I think having a good spouse just kind of like mirrors, like you end up mirroring things to each other that is just like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, we were just saying yesterday, it's just like before we were married, man, my schedule was jam packed and I ain't nearly as busy as what we do now. Like, I don't have nearly as much to do. But like the consistency was like just so different. I didn't have to worry about a house. I didn't have to
Right.
worry about making sure you good. I mean, to an extent. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's all these things that I mean, I was in crazy shape. Read in the morning before work. 5:30, 6 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these things that sound great. And I'm
Yeah.
just looking for what does that look like now?
Yeah.
And I think that's what will get me to get us to the next phase that we're looking to get to.
Right.
But in order to do that, because now it's literally a joint effort, we got to figure out like the groove together.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a good
And I
groove, so I don't want to seem. I don't want
Yeah,
it to
I don't
seem
want it to
like
seem like we're just like
we
slumpy,
gotta- no,
lazy
yeah.
people, because
Yeah.
we're not. But
It's just
like
kinda figuring
to
it
our
out now.
standard, we
Yeah.
haven't been performing to the level at which we know we can.
Exactly.
And
This is pretty good.
oh, well, that's great. And dang, I just lost my train of thought.
My bad.
Pregnancy brain is awful, just awful. Yeah, I just think it's just more of like we haven't been doing the things that we. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I'm really excited. She's under your chair.
Oh.
I'm really excited to like for the new normal, because I feel like being pregnant has just kind of like, I'm just over it. Like I'm so tired of being pregnant now. And I think obviously like once the baby is here, that's going to be a whole thing of just like adjusting to parenthood. But I feel like I'm excited to find that new groove, that is going to be a little bit more long lasting than like the pregnancy groove. You know what I mean? Because like pregnancy is just so unpredictable, and I'm sure so is parenthood. But like to an extent, you can like have a routine with we will eventually have a pretty solid routine with our baby once she has a sleep schedule and things like that. So like I'm excited for what that looks like as well, because I think it's just gonna, I just feel like we're gonna be tapped into a whole new level of like grind
For
once
sure.
she's here.
I also think we just won't be on our phones when she's
Yeah,
here
we're gonna be
because,
too
like,
busy. Yeah.
Like I
For
just
sure.
don't think so.
But another thing I was gonna say is I ordered a pair of AirPods on
Max.
Prime Day, AirPod Maxes. And then I was like, oh babe, guess what? And he was like, what? And I was like, I ordered some AirPod Maxes. He was like, are you kidding? He was like, I ordered you some too. And I think even on the flip side of that is like, even when you have to have those conversations that aren't necessarily the most ideal, it's also nice to have a spouse who like kind of, I don't know, just like, I don't know. It's kind of like one step ahead. Like, I feel like you're always like one step ahead of me. Like, you, he's like, oh, I already ordered those. Like, they're going to be here tomorrow. Mine were coming the next day. I'm like, oh, like, how did that even happen? But I think it's just, for me, those things also make those conversations that we have, like, I know you want the best for us, like I trust you as a leader, and not necessarily because you bought me AirPods, but just because because Cameron is always like thinking of ways to, I don't know, just like
Keep you going.
keep me motivated, or just
energy.
like keep me happy or whatever. But like I think that though, like having some type of balance of like, yes, we have those types of conversations here and there, but also like we like to do things for each other and with each other, and like we like to keep our relationship very healthy and fun, and do things that we just enjoy. Like, and I don't think that is, I think that makes us work together better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was good. I think we hashed out some more. No, I just think that, again, I think I reiterate, I think that we trust each other so much that sometimes we're too lenient toward one another. Like, we know we're going to get it done. Mm-hmm. It's just, for me, I'd rather get it done ahead of time, and for you, you rather get it done
in the nick of time
with 5 minutes left to go on the clock. So, like, I think that's just like our differences.
For sure.
And that'll forever be our difference.
And honestly, like, in some circumstances, both are necessary. Like, it's good to know how to work under pressure, and it's also good to know how to not have to work under pressure. But like,
no, I can work under pressure. I just prefer not to.
I know,
it's just
but
like,
I'm just saying, like, when it's down to the wire, sometimes, like,
we get it done for sure.
Yeah, and like, I don't really panic when it's down to the wire. I just hate it. I got to do it, and so I don't know. I mean, I think that's just where we kind of balance each other out. But
yeah, I think more you than me, though. I think this is you on the weight scale. It wasn't not like this, but yeah.
I think we'll see. I'll link the Actually, I don't think maybe it will be up on Substack by then. But like, I'll link my newsletter if you want to check it out. I don't know if the conversation will be up on Substack by the time. We got to rewatch the conversation, but I don't know if it'll be up by the time this podcast goes live. But I think that overall, like, the whole goal is
actually, I just had a bright idea. So Erin is actually starting a podcast on her end.
Yeah.
It's not like
it's not going to be this
per se.
Podcast.
Yeah, no, not us, not Sips of Success. But along with what Rima said, I think an additional asset is kind of behind the scenes type things that, like, I guess a part of your podcast that is like what we actually go through. Like, when we have something new, like, how do we actually make it happen? Mm-hmm. Like, the nitty gritty behind it, and not like the sweet part. Like, this podcast, this was like kind of like the sweet part. We already have an understanding.
Right. We've already had the conversation.
So it's just like, but like kind of like making it more raw. Maybe we wait to talk about it for that segment. And if you're interested, you know what I'm saying? Support.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. And that's kind of like, I didn't talk to you about what we talked about, me and Rima, but that's basically like the idea of the podcast and the newsletter is to just like share the more raw and real, like Erin off demand, like kind of off the cuff conversations that aren't as structured or like pretty. But
should be cussing me out.
No, I do not cuss him out. But just like sharing that side of me. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was good.
Yeah.
All right, have a marriage meeting. We also, I think this is like a good teaser. We have a new product coming out, and we're really excited about it. We actually just got the first draft, and we haven't looked at it yet. So we might also put that in the newsletter. And announce it there first. So we are super excited, you guys. I think the biggest thing is just prioritize your marriage more than your business. And I feel like the business will flow when the marriage is great. So if you work with your spouse, at least. So. And
if you work with your spouse, just know it can be easy. Yeah. I think I see a lot of people say it's not easy, but it's not hard.
It's not hard.
I think it's just like understanding who one another is and being able to work with the habits of the other.
Yeah. But okay. Well, cheers to that.
Cheers to that. If you rock with me, then you rock with us. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Y'all be easy.